We've got a show and it's called It's Not Trivial to Me.
Hi there, and welcome to It's Not Trivial to Me, an online game show for all-centered people. My name is Paul Katowski, and hopefully you know who you are. Today we're here at Katie's Cup in Rockford, Illinois. We have two contestants today from different parts of the English-speaking world. The first contestant is John Mingus. John, how are you doing?
I'm getting ready to go stand in line at the Birch Mirror, and it's intermittent rain, so it's going to be a long, wet afternoon.
I think you got our rain. And our second contestant today comes from Surrey, England. Please say hello in the confines of your room and your mind, Mr. Oliver Levy.
Hello.
Sir, how are you today?
Very well indeed, I must say.
So what's going on in Surrey as we speak?
Oh, it's a lovely day. There's been a bit of drama involving the shed. One of the batons has fallen off, but we attached it in short order. That's all that's really happened around here for the last few weeks.
If that's the biggest thing, that's probably actually pretty good life. I mean, that sounds good.
Yeah, just sort of climbing ladders and nailing and unnailing. That's what it's been really. Well, not all day, obviously, just sort of for an hour or so.
Okay.
So,
Well, that does sound good. Let me explain to you what we're going to be doing here. I have 4 sets of 5 questions. To make things more interesting, our contestants created 1 set each to ask the other contestant. I do this for several reasons. Getting additional perspectives from question writers around the world, it broadens the pool of knowledge. It gives us all a chance to experience the excitement of learning a new perspective from different nations, regions, and cultures on what's really important, what's interesting, and what's entertaining. And it also saves me a great deal of work. Now, the headings for our 2 question sets that I've created, well, they're not based on subject headings or some clever, smutty double entendre phrase. That's not the kind of show that I want, and it's been done before, and I couldn't think of anything clever anyway. No, so no, the title headings for our show are based on animals from my past. Now, John and Oliver, you can choose from one of the 2 following. You can choose from either Benson the goat or Terry the sheep. And John, you'll go first.
Oh, I got to go with Benson the goat, please.
Yeah, Benson was a good goat, but the story is that he wandered into a neighbor's yard and ate poisoned marijuana.
So at least he died happy.
Well, or something, yeah, and you can't make that stuff up. Anyway, okay, now, I have 5 questions for you. In true football, round football fashion, I'll be timing this on the watch, so it's not going to be displayed. So, 5 questions, really super mega fast. Okay.
Okay.
All right, here we go. We begin. Who is generally attributed with creating the phrase "knowledge is power"?
Marx.
No, that would be Sir Francis Bacon, not Thomas Hobbes. Hobbes worked for Bacon when he was younger, and if you want to be technical about it, they both wrote in Latin anyway. So there. Meh. What was the name of the man who was knighted in 1904 for his invention of the light bulb?
Rutherford.
Joseph Swan, actually. According to the New York Times, the Blue Professor, the Rat-Faced McDougal, and the Tango Triumphant are all types of what?
Viruses.
fishing lures, actually, for trout in particular. Based on overall height throughout the entire landmass, which is the tallest or highest continent?
Antarctica.
Antarctica is correct. And then the last question here. September 13th, 1830, the first railway in the world was opened between Liverpool and Manchester, England. Within 1 year, what was the time between that first railroad opening and the first railroad fatality?
2 years.
Actually, it was less than 1 day. We'll be talking a little bit about that poor unfortunate victim. Plus, we will delve a little bit more into the mind of Mr. Oliver Levy. All that and more on the next installment of It's Not Trivial to Me. Until then, one planet, one people. Peace. Maybe they dressed like that on special occasions in Victorian England. I wasn't there. Anyway, let's go back to Paul and John and find out more about poor William Huskisson. He was a dignitary. Apparently he was on the outs with the Duke of Wellington and went to the railroad opening, tried to curry favor with the Duke, got pushed in the way of a train, lost a limb, didn't go real well. Actually, from what I was reading about that, apparently the rest of that opening didn't go all that well either because the Duke got pelted with garbage. Now, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe with American military heroes, I don't know, maybe it worked a little bit better. I was just thinking about Eisenhower and Wellington. You know, we had I Like Ike. I don't know, did they have, like, I Rebuke the Duke?
Yeah, they had the Duke is well formed in, classic 1810 and kind of liked it when everybody understood their position. And when he became prime minister, nobody was in positions and class structures were changing as a result of industrialization. He went, wait. I liked it when those rabble knew their position.
Yeah, he was not good for rabble, was he? Coming up, Mr. Levy's first 5-question set. All that and more in the next segment of It's Not Trivial to Me.
The Fence and the Goat.
Terry the Sheep or Benson the Goat, yes. Benson the Goat was part of my family where the story is he allegedly died from eating poisoned marijuana.
Oh.
Yes. And Terry the Sheep was my aunt's sheep who lived in the house. I have no idea why I just mentioned that. I just thought I'd share. So anyway, which of the two topics would you like?
I would like to hear more about this sheep, please.
Terry, I don't think they ever ate him. I think Terry was kind of allowed to wander in the house. I know there's a lot of plastic in the carpet. I remember that, and I do remember as a child that my sister tried to feed him with a very large baby bottle, and he kind of almost like flung her about the house because he was apparently very big and also very hungry.
Oh, I see.
And apparently my cameraman / daughter found that rather amusing. So which of the two topics do you want to do? I guess then we should go into Terry the Sheep, right?
Oh, definitely.
All right. Now, the subject heading, Terry the Sheep, this is going to be super, mega, ultra, lightning round, faster than fast. For all those hardcore trivia people, the super, ultra fast lightning round for people who need to get their knowledge fix in a hurry. All right. Question 1. In 1871, this man, normally known for his writing, received a patent in the United States for an American form of suspenders. Who is this man?
Oh. The American form of suspenders, or braces, of course, as we know them over here. it wouldn't have been someone with a sort of sartorial legacy, would it? Like, was it Jerome?
Excuse me?
Jerome? Hey, Jerome?
That would be Mark Twain, actually.
Oh,
Question 2. Per Philippine law, per law in the Philippines, to fly their flag upside down means what?
oh, well, over here it means distress. I would say it's the same there too.
Any specific form of distress?
Oh, as in our fort is being invaded. Or,
Close enough. It means they're at war.
oh, right.
Next question. According to general relativity theory, this force is the weakest of the 4 fundamental forces, and it is caused by a curvature of what Einstein referred to as space-time. What is this fundamental force?
That's gravity.
That is gravity. On April 9th, 2006, Canada's Joint Task Force North declared that this region will now be referred to as the Canadian Internal Waters, rather than this more historic or traditional term. What term is it?
Oh, is it Hudson Bay?
That would be the Northwest Passage, actually.
Oh, right.
And then the last one. This 2011 invention is a glove and sleeve combination coated in ballistic nylon that includes a 500,000 volt delivery system and a video camera. The name of this invention comes from a movie starring one of the invention's investors, an actor by the name of Kevin Costner. What is this invention called?
Oh, I was going to say something, it sounds like something from RoboCop, but he wasn't in that. Oh, I know this as well. It's not the Waterworld glove, is it?
No, it would be the bodyguard.
Oh,
And our scores are... Do you have a score? No. Well, the scores are too close to call. We'll just leave it at that. So, we'll go ahead and continue now with the segment that I like to call Live and Learn. This is how that part works. The segment doesn't really have anything to do with knowledge that the contestant may have before the show. Instead, it involves something that I sent them, an interview with somebody, or in this case, a short movie, where they get to watch the movie, and then the questions will be based on what they just saw. So, for today's show, the 2 contestants were given the opportunity to watch a film from 1944 in the public domain called Jammin' the Blues. Nice piece of film featuring some great music and some interesting direction in photography. In fact, here it is.
This is a jam session. Quite often, these great artists gather and play ad-lib hot music. It could be called a midnight symphony.
Grab your coat, get your hat, leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear the pitter-patter? The happy tune is your step. Life can be sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade, kept my blues on parade. But now I'm not afraid, 'cause my rover's crossed over. If I never have a cent, be rich like Rockefeller, babe. Got gold dust round my feet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade, kept my blues on parade. But now I'm not afraid, 'cause if you look among the clover, your rover's crossed over. If I never have a cent, be rich like Rockefeller, babe. I've got gold dust round my feet on the bubble side of the street.
So, now that you've seen that, here are your 3 questions. Question 1.
Let's see. There's 2 tenor saxes, I think, 1 bass sax, trumpeter, a drummer, a singer, a guitarist. I'm gonna go with 7.
Okay. And John, how many do you guess?
10.
Okay. Actually, there were 10.
Oh,
10 musicians and then 1 dancer.
that, of course.
Second question. What is the first thing that you see in the film after the credits?
Oh, it's it's a sort of overhead shot of his head, of the sort of smoke rising from beneath his hat.
Okay. And John?
A hat.
Okay. It actually is indeed the hat, along with the smoke and everything. Yes, I know. After I saw this film, I wanted to start talking like this and smoking heavily, but
Oh, it's an
probably
infectious film, yeah.
indeed. And then, who was the director? Who was the director of Jammin' the Blues?
Oh, it was a time photographer. Sorry, no, life photographer. Called with Milo. Some very odd.
Okay. And John?
Spike Lee.
No, it was not Spike Lee, John. No, it was John Mealy, I believe is how it's pronounced. I was actually looking for a pronunciation of this, J-G-O-N. He was Albanian, and my Albanian pronunciation is not good. I remember the name of the dictator, Hoxna, was pronounced Hoxha, and I'm not sure where that comes from. But yeah, in fact, he actually never directed a feature film, but he did, of course, yes, as you mentioned, Oliver, a lot of work for Time magazine. He apparently did some still photography for Exodus and several other movies, and
lots of Hitchcock as well.
Yes, and a lot of the photographs, particularly from the 50s, some of their stop-action photography, a lot of that apparently was his as well. All right, so now at this point, our score is too close to tell. We'll just leave it at that. Okay, but it's pretty darn exciting. Let me tell you. Okay.
We've got a show. It's called It's Not Trivial to Me. Why am I talking like this? It's called It's Not Trivial to Me.
Rock and roll! We're going to go ahead and do the contestant-created questions, the questions that the contestants created for their counterparts. The important thing when it comes to these contestant questions is that I only want them to be questions that are interesting to the contestants themselves and not overly smutty. Anyway, thank you, John. Here are the questions that Oliver prepared for you. Question 1. The first U.S. air raid on Japan was led by which lieutenant colonel?
Doolittle.
All right. In 1982. You'll see a theme developing here, by the way. 1982, Russell F. Doolittle, along with Jack Kite, proposed the hydropathy index for what vital class of molecules?
Fluorocarbons.
No, those are amino acids, actually. So close. Number 3. Actually, Oliver wrote thirdly, which is very nice. The Pixies album Doolittle opens with a track inspired by which surrealist film?
The Cabinet of Dr. Moll. It's the Cabinet one.
No, Un Chien Andalou, actually.
Okay.
The Andalusian dog with the whole eye thing and all that.
The whole eye thing, yeah.
The whole eye thing, yes. Next one, which author created Dr. Doolittle?
Is it Travers?
Lofting.
Lofting.
Hugo. Lofting, yes. I'd forgotten when Oliver mentioned it, too. And then, this one's inspired. In 1967 and 1968, the most popular version of the Oscar winner for Best Song was sung in those 2 consecutive years by a father and his son. Give me either one of the 2 men or one of the 2 songs they sang.
The only father-son singing thing I can think of is too early for that. It's Bobby Bear, but it's like, he's like 1973, but that's all I got. Bobby Bear.
Well, okay. Think about the theme that we've been developing up to this point.
John Little, Littlefinger.
Or Doolittle.
John Doolittle.
Since we just mentioned the book.
Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Doolittle and the amino acids.
Okay, well, here, let's work with this a little bit. Do you remember it was made into a movie?
Yes. Oh, and the movie had Rex Harrison.
Yes, it did.
Oh, and MacArthur Park. No.
Oh, from I don't think they did MacArthur Park and Dr. Doolittle. That would be a very different movie.
Yes, it would. Oh, what are the songs? I saw that movie like 500 times between like 1973 and 79. I blocked out the music, however. Did not remember that it was a musical. First word?
Talk.
Talk to the animals.
Yes, indeed, yes. And the following movie was, the following year, do you remember his son?
No.
That was Noel, yeah.
Okay.
And the movie Windmills of Your Mind, from the Thomas Crown Affair, the original one, with Faye Dunaway and Steve McQueen.
Okay.
Okay. Oliver, that was inspired. Thank you very much for those.
And next, Oliver gets John's questions on. It's not trivial to me.
We've got a show and it's called It's Not Trivial to Me.
Hello.
Hello. All right, now. And now, Oliver, here is your question set from John. In your case, actually, you have 1 question and 5 answers. This one question. how do you like football, the round kind, rather than the one with the pointy ends that we
A
have over
rough
here?
hand egg. I like it as much as any Englishman is expected to, which is right.
There is a law, a royal decree or something, isn't there? I forget.
Yeah, no one can talk about anything except weather and how's your team doing this season.
Okay, well, that fits in real well with this. Okay, here's your question. In 1967, a group of North American sports entrepreneurs decided to create a professional soccer league in the United States and Canada, which became known as the United Soccer Association. Now, in an effort to start up ahead of a rival group, the entrepreneurs decided to import entire existing professional clubs from the United Kingdom, from Ireland, from Europe, and from South America for 1 year, while they prepared a more permanent club for future seasons. Now, 5 of these North American clubs that were in the first year of the United Soccer Association, these clubs were known as the Boston Rovers, the Los Angeles Wolves, the Cleveland Stokes, the Chicago Mustangs, and the Washington Whips. Please give me the names of any of these clubs in their countries of origin.
Well, the Stokes, presumably Stoke City.
Presumably, yes.
Okay. So the Wolves must have been Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Okay.
The Boston Rovers must have been Bristol Rovers.
The Shamrock Rovers, actually.
Oh, right. And what was it? The Washington Whips.
The Washington Whips, yes.
See that has no cognate in English. Like a cat o' nine tails, maybe, or like a scourge, Scarborough Town FC.
Actually, that was Aberdeen. I'm not sure. I don't think there's a connection, but I don't know. Do you want to try the Chicago Mustangs?
Oh, right. Mustangs. Mustang Sally. Inverness Caledonian Thistle. No, what?
My Italian isn't very good. I believe it would be, is it Cagliari? Calcio?
Oh, Cagliari.
Yeah,
Oh.
Calcio.
Possibly.
Okay.
They're not.
They're all still they're all playing in the first division of their respective nations.
Okay.
The Los Angeles Wolves, by the way, that team was initially going to be the Los Angeles Zorros, but then when they made the agreement with Wolverhampton, that was part of the agreement that they play as the Los Angeles Wolves.
Oh, I see.
Okay, well, thank you for the effort. Excellent try.
Yes.
And between that and what we got from John, the score is, well, it's a mystery to most of us. So now, it all comes down to now to respective knowledge of our dysfunctional mother tongue, because now it's time for fun, fact, and fiction. Now, in this part, I have a special, unusual, or sadly underused word in the English language. I will read the word along with 4 definitions, one of which is correct. Now, the word today comes to us from phronistery.info, PHRONISTERY. PHR.info, an excellent site online if you're looking for special words for special people, so use one today. Anyway, so the word for today is, voiceover person? Growl. Growlery. All right. That was Actually, my daughter, she needs rest. Anyway, growlery, Growlery. Growlery. Now, gentlemen, is the correct definition A side chamber in the medieval English manners used for temporary food storage before and after meals? Does growlery mean B, an informal term used by some in the veterinary profession for special shelters that house larger animals who were victimized by unusual or extraordinarily violent behavior? These animals would be placed there both for medical purposes as well as to prevent exposure to these behaviors to other shelter animals. That's B. Is the correct definition C, a retreat for times of ill humor? Or is the correct definition D, a new restaurant chain based out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, featuring angry waitstaff as performance artists? The restaurant chain uses the slogan, "Come hungry, leave hostile." So, which is correct?
I hope it's B. I think B is a little obvious, the repository for the savage pets.
You're going to go with C?
Yes.
A retreat for times of ill humor.
I think so.
I'm going to go with A.
And John? All right. Well, yes, the correct answer is indeed, Mr. Levy, a retreat for times of ill humor. Are you a fan of Dickens, by the way? Because apparently he used that word often in Bleak House.
Oh, I'm a fan of his. I haven't leafed through Bleak House in a while, but yeah. So it's kind of like a panic room, really, but instead of panic, it's just mardiness.
Well, I guess I would think of it more as your happy place, or wherever you go after you're having an argument with somebody, or you're stressed out by the world. Sometimes in America they'll refer to it as a man cave, or it's just some place you go to hang out. I like that word, and I think we should start using that word again.
I'll work on it. I'll try to get it into conversation.
Yeah, because you work for the federal government. You can get it in there, and we can start it, and viral campaign. Never know.
Oh yeah. Well, first we have to start using the room again. Just a big room full of pickaxes and white goods.
That would work. Okay. Well, so thank you both for playing. You both did very well. You should be very proud of yourselves. And we forgot to keep score. So, by special international online game show decree, I proclaim you both game show winners. Congratulations.
We've got a show and it's called It's Not Trivial to Me.
By special international online game show decree, I proclaim you both game show winners.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very good. Now, for playing, of course, my contestants will receive a small token of my thanks, but they're also going to get something that I hope will be a little more important. When I created the show, I knew that a refrigerator or a trip or a new car, those were all prizes, part of an old, stodgy, materialistic and antiquated system of game show prizes that I wanted to leave behind. And, well, the fact that I couldn't afford to do any of that anyway, of course, had no part in my decision. But what is valuable in this day and age? What's important in this day and age is communication, intimacy, insight, and time. So our contestants have a chance to share something with us on a scale that, if they wish, can go at least a little beyond simply sharing with immediate family and friends. What can be shared is only limited by the contestants' interests and desires, personal, political, funny, serious, a little bit all of the above, whatever they want. Contestants can include links to websites, recite poetry, create poetry, eat poetry as part of what they want to do. Something that I'm currently calling the manifesto moment. Heavy name, huh? Okay, so with John, what do you have for us today?
In terms of, I'd like to share a couple of websites that I tend to review on a regular basis. It's sort of part of my daily wind-down routine. There tend to be three. The first one is an English football site that focuses on non-league football. It's theballisaround.co.uk. It is the guy is co-owner of a non-league team, so he writes about non-league football in a way that, and a great writer. He writes about what it's like following a non-league team, looking at the calendar and realizing that if he times this day right, he can go to 4 games in the course of the next 24 hours. And it's just a very nicely crafted site. The second site is called the History Network, the historynetwork.us, all one word. The history department at a U.S. university goes through major newspapers in the English language and finds history-related articles from that day. And it's kind of a fun, neat compilation of places to go see, where you can see, that The Guardian, for example, published an article about some Viking horde being found in some obscure county, or that guy has gone back to the South Pacific because he's pretty sure he knows where Amelia Earhart is this time, and all he needs is a little bit more money and time to find the airplane.
Probably some of those articles go back to about 1938 or 39, and
yes,
every other year since then.
Yes, but it's sort of a nice compilation site. And then I get my political fix from a site called dailycost.com, which is right up my. It's a very nice sort of compilation of views that I largely agree with, so it makes me happy.
Okay. Well, very good. Thank you very much for your time, John. And we'll be seeing ourselves, I guess.
All right. Thanks,
Okay,
Paul.
thank you.
Amidst all the recent pageantry surrounding Citizen Kane being dethroned as Sight and Sound's greatest film ever made, one slightly overlooked aspect of the production caught my eye. Not the much revisited enigma surrounding the whispered word rosebud and what it might signify, or indeed what in the real world might have inspired it. Well, actually yes, the fact that Orson Welles himself credited the device to his collaborator Herman Mankiewicz and insisted that he himself was not too keen about it, and that he and Mankiewicz did everything they could to take the mickey out of it. Indeed, in the film's final speech, William Allen's reporter concludes, "I don't think any word explains a man's life." And yet the film has been distilled to a word, a situation I'm afraid I'm not about to rectify. It's a word, an object, it's a sled, a MacGuffin, a shorthand, and a piece of film memorabilia to be auctioned off and snapped up to demonstrate one's vast cultural capital and even more vast capital. It's a tangible, visible, vocally imitable artifact that lingers long after the performances, the script and the cinematography have all departed the mind. In this regard, Citizen Kane has less in common with its usual exalted company than with other object-centered films, from the MacGuffins of The Maltese Falcon and The 39 Steps, to later franchises more explicitly concerned with selling merchandise, such as Star Wars and Transformers. The word usually applied to these properties is toyetic, but this implies Saturday morning cartoons and family films. In reality, most films surreptitiously push toys towards their viewers through product placement. It's often said that product placement turns films into extended commercials, which is nearly true. Conventional advertising is inoffensive and subservient, whereas films often play rough, abusing and destroying the product, rarely giving the object the last word. Naturally, this is more effective than a genuine commercial, simply because advertising standards and brand guidelines tend to forbid anything too convulsive, and lack of conflict writes white. An immaculate product shot of a car is simply less viscerally satisfying than watching it scrape along walls, pulverise fruit stalls, and swerve around mothers. As our society moves from the material to the intellectual, and Hollywood recoups its losses with more and more product placement, many of the things we buy will have their moment on screen, with real-world concerns such as the ability to survive the guarantee period becoming secondary to their sheer star power. After all, the more durable an object, the longer it spends pining for the days when a frustrated realtor smashed it against the wall, or Q replaced its innards with a satellite tracking device, and then James Bond smashed it against a wall. Even on a larger scale, buildings destroyed on screen tend to have long afterlives of association. Try to picture the White House without the mothership from Independence Day pumping it full of laser. And in the real world, the most recognisable images of St. Paul's Cathedral and the World Trade Center are respectively of the one rising above the confusion of the Blitz, and the other fatally punctured and pouring out smoke. Whilst architects strive to build high as heaven and seamless as Christ's robe, it's the reminders of their buildings' materiality and mortality that impress on the mind. Whatever contingencies designers and architects plan for, their creations achieve true apotheosis only through destruction. Would Citizen Kane be as potent had the sled not been consigned to the fireplace? Possibly.